everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Driving with Randy. This is episode 24. It's episode 24. We're almost at the big 25. 25 is a good amount of episodes to have. I'm really happy with how... God dang it! I'm pulling on my driveway and oh, yikes, boys, yikes. I forgot the city carnival. I don't know how I forget. I can't forget. I mean, so the city carnival's in town, and I'm going there tonight with a girl, but there's a lot of people down there right now. Interesting. Well, essentially what I'm getting at is they have barricades set up because there's going to be a parade, and I'm a little upset I'm going to miss the parade because I go out of town this weekend. But I get to enjoy it tonight. It's going to be a fun time meeting up with some friends. A woman's coming over. She's going down there with me. It's going to be a great time. I absolutely love the carnival, the fair. I don't know if I've ever spoke about it. I actually work our state fair every single year. I just got my stuff in the... You know what? This all just segues perfect into exactly what I was going to talk about. I want to go over some of the great stories I've had at the fair, and everything just seems to come together. So I've worked at the fair for the... Did I even do a proper introduction? I don't even know if I did. I'm your host, Road Rage Randy. I appreciate you all tuning in to episode 24. This is a podcast that we do while I drive. Well, while I drive, and it's been doing pretty well. As of today, we're at 355 downloads across all episodes. That is freaking awesome. That is incredible that 355 people out there have listened to my sexy voice at some point. It's pretty awesome. Anyways, let's get into it. I've worked at the fair for the past 6 years. I've worked 6 years at the fair. I've put in some work at the fair. All right, I know how to operate every single. All right, I can't say I know how to operate the ride. I'm not that level. I work with the ticket takers. So the fair gives the fair gives some of the rides ticket takers. And that's the department I worked for the first Jesus, we're at an intersection. I don't know how this is gonna go. We gotta wait for this guy. All right, boys, our turn. So we, the first 2 years I worked one ride. It was all right. I started when I was 16. And you get invited back if you work all 12 days of the fair. So that's what I did. I worked that. And then I kept getting invited back, and then the next 3 years. So the next 3 years I worked at a different ride, which I loved very much as well. And then last year I got asked if I wanted to do the same ride that I did the previous 2 years, and I'm like, yeah, that would be awesome. But then he's like, well, we changed how the break schedule works. And long story short, how the break schedule used to be for that specific ride was you'd work an hour and then you'd take an hour off, and you'd do that every other hour. So I'd work 4 hours, get paid for 8. And the reason they did it that way is because the north end of this ride was like a half-hour walk just to our office. So if you're getting lunch, it's almost impossible for you to go get lunch. What the heck we got here? These chicks are thick. I bet they play volleyball. They're thick, dude. All right, anyways, just getting a little distracted by these females. They're thick. I don't know what to tell you. They're big. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, so he's like, do you want to work that? I'm like, yeah. And I like that ride because of the schedule. You work your ass off for an hour. I've worked a lot of rides at the fair, and that ride is probably the hardest ride to work out of all of them, because you're standing, you're on concrete, the sun beats down on you, and it's nonstop. You have to, it's nonstop, one person after the other. It's one. I barely have time to answer people's questions if they have them, because it's just next. The ride doesn't stop. It's just nonstop, and I loved it. It was, fast pace, and then you get to go chill for an hour, hang out, and enjoy the fair. Whereas some of the other rides, it's like, oh, you might see one person every 20 minutes, and it's like it gets dull after a while. It gets very dull. But he told me that he's like, the break schedule has changed. I'm like, oh yeah? He's like, so you're going to be working the entire time, but you give each other the 2 15s in a half hour, because that's what we're supposed to get. We're supposed to get 2 15-minute breaks and a half hour break. And while it, what am I trying to say? My mind is set on where I'm headed right now, not what I'm trying to say. But yeah, while I would love to work that ride, I decided to take his other offer, which is a reliever. So what the reliever does is they overemploy. So they will have enough people to work the rides, and then they have like 3-4 people overemployed. That way if someone quits, they have extras. But pretty much what I did was I got to go around and give people their breaks. So for the first hour and a half, no one got a break, so I legit just got to chill. It was pretty rad. I got to chill, and then we should see if this guy can do a tail whip. Can you do a tail whip? You do a tail whip? He doesn't want to. He's got music in or something. I don't know. I'm kind of interested. He's got a scooter. But yeah. So we were. My mind is just like losing track. It's not focused, because I know where I'm going, and I know. I didn't tell you guys where I'm going, but I got like my mind on it. My mind is set on where I'm going, and once I get it, I'm sure things will be a lot more smooth. All right, let me drink water, and we'll figure this out. I'm at a red light, baby. Okay, so I got, for the first hour and a half, nobody got a break. So as soon as I gave the first person their break, right after they were done, I had like a 2-minute gap. I think it was a 5-minute gap. And then I moved over to the next ride. I was in charge of 3 rides. Sometimes, man, one of the people is in charge of 2, which is easy rides. But, and they're right next to each other. So, pretty much, dude, they were taking Instagram selfies on the corner. I like it. Yeah, so I gave break, and then I would have an hour in between the first breaks. So once I gave 3 breaks, I would then go give a lunch break, which is a half hour. So once I start lunch breaks, it's nonstop breaks for the rest of the day. So it's pretty much like I get to start nice and chill, and then from there it kind of it's nonstop, which I love. I don't have a problem with like working long hours at all, with no break. No problem with it at all. It's just nice to it's nice to be lazy. That's what I should say, because the work an hour, take an hour off, it was nice. And working that like 8 hours through, I could do it 100% without complaining. But to be my friendliest, when it's kind of a customer service type thing, to be my friendliest, I have to get my hour in to enjoy the fair, and especially because I'm going to my other job afterwards. I think it's just important that I get a rest a little bit, because after 12 days it might be a little rough. I kind of left early for work today because because we're getting food, but, well, kind of. I didn't tell you guys where we're going yet, but we're there. We're just patiently waiting. There's a guy ahead of us. You gotta wait in line, which, I tell you, people try and budge at the fair, and it's like, why? You're in line for the ride, dude. Why would you budge?
Hi, welcome to Harrison. How can I help you?
I would like a large root beer freeze. That is all.
One large root beer freeze will be $4.27.
All right, thank you. $4.27. Dude, that's actually a pretty good deal because I think that's a medium at Culver's, which is, that's a scam, dude. I think I've told you guys about me getting scammed at Culver's. So we're going to give him a $2 bill. So because I don't want change in here. Because we go and get a snow cone tonight. Yeah, we giving him a 2. I got lot 27, so I got a whole change thing in here. My mom always tells me not to do this because someone might get in my car. The last time I emptied this change thing, I kid you not, I had like $53 in change. And I if you ever see your boy driving down the road in his Toyota Sienna 2007, what are we doing? Dude, this guy in front of me knows I'm talking to myself. It's a podcast, bro. If you ever see your boy driving around in a 2007 Toyota Sienna, just know I'm probably packing quite the amount of change. Unless I just emptied it. In that case, I mean, I didn't get the van fixed either. But so we're going out of town, and I'm so off track right now because I'm fucking focused on this root beer freeze. I don't know. I'm just, my mind is everywhere right now. I just want this root beer freeze, and that girl's got pink hair. It's pretty. I love me a girl with some colored hair. It looks very good. I love colored hair. It looks good. Anyways, we're gonna get into some carnival stories. I have so many, man. And the reason this is kind of got brought up, not only did I get my employment information for this year, I was at the store today picking up some buns that we had ordered, right? And some Carnies came in, and maybe like 5 or 6 of them rolled in. And they're like, look, it's a meat store. So it's kind of like a grocery store, but it's not. It's just a meat store. But you could tell they were Carnies. Just, if you've ever seen a Carnie, you know how Carnies look. But, that comes down to what we talked about last time, judging a book by its cover and whatnot. They're extremely nice people.
And $4.27 is the total?
Here's 27, and here's 4.
Thank you.
Yeah. So they're like extremely nice people, and they have some of the best stories. Oh, did I give you too much? I'm sorry.
No problem. Kind of overpay.
Awesome, appreciate it, bro. 5, 6, 7, 8. You know what? I did give that man too many pennies. I'm a moron. Who knew? Who knew I didn't know how to count? Oh yeah, I know. Everyone knows that because I got scammed out of Culver's that one time. Yeah, dude, more people are looking at me. They know something's up. It's a podcast. Root beer freeze, baby. That's the good stuff. And I'm allowed to. I can record that interaction because we have this beautiful thing called the First Amendment here in America. And the First Amendment gives you freedom of the press. And what does freedom of the press mean? Well, that means you can record anything you can see in public where a reasonable amount of privacy is not needed. Like, you can't go into a fucking public bathroom and record. That's all that means. That's all that means. Dairy Queen drive-thru for a root beer freeze? Fuck yeah, bud. I can do whatever I want there. All right. We're gonna be sipping that along the way. I know I make gorgeous noises when I'm eating all the time. Sup, old dude? You know, you gotta be a little quicker on the pedal if you're gonna. Anyways, the Carnies came in, and I have my State Fair shirt on, right? Because I wear my State Fair shirts all the time. I just had it on. Whoa. And it was kind of neat. Like we interacted well. It's like we're part of the International Brotherhood of Carnies or something, which is not a thing, but we get each other. I just happen to have all my teeth and no addiction to meth, like half of them probably. But like I said, they're extremely nice people, and they have some of the best stories. So one thing when I'm at the fair, you gotta know the rules, because rules of the ride, because you are sent out to that ride. So it's my job, not being employed by the ride, but the fair, to know what the ride expects from me as well as what the fair expects to me. So if there's a collision there, I know what to do. Like, say, for one of the rides, there's no food allowed, right? It's not my job to take it away. I technically don't even have to tell them no food, but it makes everything easier if you just say, hey, just so you know, they're going to take that food away. If there's any problems past that, I get the ride supervisor over there, and he can deal with it. So one of the rides is, it's like a ski lift. It's from one end of the fair to the other end, and something about it is you're not allowed to bring strollers. Strollers are anything with wheels. So backpacks with wheels, it says right on the front, no wheels. That's what it says. And another thing that carnivals are very big on are zero refunds, no refunds. Once they have your money, it is their money. So I had this guy come up, and he had a stroller. I'm like, just so you know, you can't bring that. He's like, it's not a stroller, it's a backpack. I'm like, yeah, with 24-inch wheels on it. You're a freaking idiot. And I'm like, you're not going to be able to bring it out. I don't know what to tell you. He's like, well, then give me my money back. I'm like, I don't have the power to do so. He's like, well, where do I get it back? I'm like, no refunds. He's like, listen, buddy, I paid for this. How am I supposed to get to the other end with my family? I'm just like, walk. And, you know, my attitude kind of changes throughout the fair, right? It's like day one, I'm a little more like, someone has a bottle of water, it's more put a cap on it, shove it in your pants, and don't let them see it. You know, something like that. Come day 3, I'm so fucking sick of people. It's like, oh, you look at me wrong? Fuck you, buddy. Your ticket's not available. I'm not taking your ticket. Not really, but you get the point. I get a little more strict on the rules as the days go by, because I'm tired of dealing with people's crap. People need to read the sign before you put your money in. There has been cases where refunds have been issued, and it's not really like an actual refund. It's usually just they give them another ticket. Like, say, you know, they're pretty lenient on that type of thing. If you talk to the supervisor and you're like, I paid for round trip, but they only let us go, or they took both tickets on the other end, they'll ask you some questions, and if they feel you're genuine, they might give you a ticket or two. All that does is it puts more wear on the ride, so they're not getting money for that ride, but it's probably going to make the customer happy, and at the end of the day, they're not really losing too much money, because everyone's going to get through line anyways. At some point, they're going to get on that ride. It's bro, I get some angry people yelling at me. I'm just like, I'm a ticket taker, bro. What do you want from me? The one ride I cannot stand. There's multiple rides out there. So one of the rides that we're in charge of is the haunted house. I have no problem working the haunted house. It's just the owner of the haunted house is kind of he's very picky about his ticket takers. Like, he thinks ticket takers are going to steal tickets and give people free entry into the place, and he just tells you straight up, we're watching you 24/7 on this camera right here. Don't do anything stupid. And they're strict on a bunch of things. You know, they run it a lot different than a lot of the other companies or a lot of the other ride operators that I know. All the other rides I've been to, they're pretty lenient. They're like, you need anything, just let us know. Any questions, let us know. I know your job's just to take tickets. You don't have to do much else. And the haunted house is just, they're like very strict. But the one ride I cannot stand working is the carousel. Not only is the music like meant for like 2-year-olds, I talked with the operator, Carnie. I talked with him last year quite a bit. Very nice guy. I talked with him while he was on his smoke break. And he was telling me, I'm like, oh, you switched the music? Because I had given the girl her first break and it was like, you switched the music? He's like, yeah, I kind of got tired of listening to Frozen for the past 2 days. So we switched it up a little bit. And the reason I hate the carousel, though, is because a lot of young people want to ride it, right? So there is a height restriction so people aren't getting injured. So there's a height restriction, and if they don't meet the height restriction, a parent has to ride with them. And a lot of times the parents don't think they have to pay. They think, oh, one ticket, and then they're in. And it's like, no, because every single person that gets on that ride causes wear and tear. The adults cause more tear than the children do even. So there's always a bunch of, I want a refund then. If they can't go alone, I'm like, well, you can go with them. They're like, well, I want a refund. And it's like, there's no refunds. Then they're like, why do I have to buy a ticket? I'm like, they're not tall enough. I mean, the rules are at the ticket booth. The rules are posted before you get to me. It's like people just, they're not even drunk if they're going on the carousel. They're just idiots. They have no brain cells. They don't look at signs. They don't read. It's like, come on. So what I would like to tell all you guys out there, if you go to the fair, here's some tips to not pissing off your ticket taker. Sorry, I'm sucking on my root beer freeze. Okay. So item number 1 on how to not piss off your ticket taker. Don't do stupid games where, it's you hold on to the ticket real tight and you try and oh, I got you. You're too slow. Ha, guess what? You're going to the back of the line, bitch. Don't do that. You just hand me the ticket. And when you hand me the ticket, do not take it out of your mouth to hand it to me. Do not hand me the ticket when it's dripping in sweat, because that's disgusting. And you think I got access to hand sanitizer? No. I'm working for $10 an hour at the fair. I can't buy hand sanitizer. So don't rip it out. Don't give it to your child when your child's like 2 years old and thinks the ticket is a pacifier. It's not a pacifier. It's your entry onto the ride. Teach your children. Domesticate them, like I brought up before in like episode 4 or 3. Domesticate your children. Do not let them suck on the tickets like they're pacifier. The adults are just as freaking bad. If you have more than one ticket, okay, That's like, hand me like 3 tickets, and then say it's for, I can count. I'll be like, all right, 1, 2, 3. If you're gonna do that, do not be, I have 3, and then you rip them individually, and you're like, oh, here's 1 for me. Rip, here's 1 for him. All right, rip, here's 1 for her. No, just hand me the tickets. I am in charge of counting tickets per person. I don't need them individually. I just need the tickets. Hand them to me. If you have questions, ask. I'm more than happy. A lot of people are very friendly, but something I always say, if it's a round trip ride, like you can go one way or you can go 2 way, and they hand me both tickets, and then I rip them and I give them half back, right? Because that's what you do. You get that life hack. If you're going round trip, buy a round trip. If you're going one way, but you might do it again one way another day, get a 2-way ticket, because the 2-way ticket will save you $2, and you just use half of it in the morning, and then you use the other half the next time you go. So what I do is I rip them, I hand them, and I'm like, if you're going round trip, just hold it up on the other side, because that's all you got to do. If you're going around, they need to know you're staying on, so then you can just hold up your ticket and they'll send you right back around. If you do not understand that, or I don't even have a problem with the people who don't understand it. I've had deaf people that understand it. I've had people who clearly don't speak very good English understand what that means. And then you get these idiots that don't get it. They don't get it. You say, just hold it up on it, and like, what do you mean hold it up on the other side? Yeah, I'm round trip. Yeah, so hold it up when you get to the other end so they know to send you back. Jesus Christ. Can you tell that people irritate me? Like, it's I need to suck on my root beer freeze a little bit. So, people get to me. People get to me sometimes. One of the guys I see every year at the fair, he chills on a dock every day, right by our office. He just chills, smokes one after another, just chain smoking all day long. And so one day I'm like, hey man, how's it going? Hey, again, extremely nice guy. Just we come from different walks of life. I live with a middle class family in a very white neighborhood. They might have lived in a trailer park or something and got into drugs. Just different walks of life. But he's extremely nice. I see him every year and I talk to him, and I'm like, one day I finally asked him, like, so what is your job? Like, all I ever see is you sitting here listening to your beats, smoking cigarettes. So his job, he's a runner. So what he does is, if a stand is low on cups or something, they'll call into the stocking area, and that's what he does. He runs them their cups then. Pretty nice job. He sits in a lawn chair all day. Some of the high up Midway people, the high up Carnival people, they're also really nice people, and they've been in the Midway for a while. I actually, for the first time last year, I got to talk with the ride inspector. So I guess all the rides get inspected every morning before they open, and I hadn't known that, because the rides that I have worked for previously, the owner has inspected it because they are the operators. But when it comes to, like, I was at the go-karts when I met him. Each go-kart has to be inspected. The inspector doesn't have the hour it takes for the other rides, whereas like the go-karts, he does a quick walkthrough, checks to see if things are all right, and he's on his way to the next ride. Whereas like the like ski lift one, that takes a good hour. So the ride itself is in charge of operating that. People fall off that thing. It's incredible to me how people get drunk and just fall off the ski lifts, like onto roofs. the roofs are filled with like bras and socks and God knows what. It's like, how do you lose your bra? How do you lose your underwear when you're on the ski lifts? Aren't you there for the ski lift? Not to like throw your pants off? I don't get it. I don't get it, but maybe that's part of the whole part of the fair culture that I'm not understanding. Well, we've been going for quite a while. I don't want to make the podcast too long. I definitely went on some rants today, and I'm running out of. I have so many stories. I was gonna say I'm running out of ice cream. I have a lot of carnival stories, so I'll be sure to get into more of those later down the road. Ooh, yellow light, we just got through. I just want to say I appreciate everybody tuning in to episode 24. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at Thoughts by Randy. We have a Reddit now, reddit.com/r/drivingwithrandy. Come on in for some discussion, leave some feedback. Give me a 5-star rating on iTunes or whatever you're listening to. I'd love to hear some kind words from you guys. And I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Peace.